that person is gonna be like, you are the only person for me, If your sales pitch is already done. This person understands my struggles, understands my voice, understands my, passion and the things I want to put out into the world and can really help me move through that process. And yeah, I find it's way more powerful the more specific you are with who you want to serve. Welcome to Unplugged, the tech podcast for digital entrepreneurs. I am one of your hosts, Brooke, the founder of the Sober Biz Collective.
Hey, podcasters. My name's Nate Kelly, best-selling author and founder of Podcast Revolution Studios. If you're looking for tech, tools, and tips on how to utilize podcasting for your business, you're in the right spot. Let's get unplugged. We hear all of this, SEO, optimize searchability, discoverability, definitely buzzwords and, associated with a lot of what we do as digital entrepreneurs. And I think that I know what everything is, but I feel like I understand it on a very surface level, SEO and optimizing things. And, you're talking about indexing your site information and whatnot. As someone who understands it, at that surface level, what can you tell me to help me understand it better? Or what should I look for to optimize a site?
Basically, SEO is really like how searchable are you on Google? If someone types in where to find a web designer that works with sober coaches, then I want my site to pop up first because there's not a lot of me out there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Great starting place, right? Be unique in your niche.
Exactly. Actually, that's really been the pinnacle of my success in my business has been the fact that I niched right down.
Yeah.
And from the moment I launched my business, I knew who I wanted to serve and who I wanted to help. And they immediately sent me to other people that they knew. And because I have a very special interest group, I know a lot about their industry. I took a sober coaching course myself so that I knew what they needed in terms of their websites and stuff. Um, I also podcast. I work with a lot of sober podcasters. I work with a lot of authors and um, just people in the recovery community that are trying to make a difference. People who want to help people is who I want to help,
I
right?
love that. Yep.
so
Spread the
so
love.
yeah, it made it really, really easy at first to get referrals because there wasn't a lot of people specializing in this industry. And that's slowly changing. I've seen a couple more accounts pop up, not so much for web design, but for other services, business services in the sober community, which is really, really cool. But yeah, so for me with SEO, it's having that niche really, really helped me because there's only very few people that would search for very few options of people when you search for sober business support services. So my name is up there. Registering with Google as your business is really, really important so that you have a Google business account on there. Um, Basically, you just want to tell Google I'm legitimate, I exist, I am real, and I'm not a
How do you do
scam.
that?
And
Have I done that, do you think?
a great way to do that is to have reputable websites referencing your website. So
Uh-huh.
having a link on Forbes or on a New York Post or something, if
Oh,
their
I do.
websites link to you, then it gives you credibility in Google. So that will help get you up on the search engine list. Having specific keywords and phrases on your website right on the first page when people hop on, they know exactly what they're getting. And also having people stay on your website and want to scroll down and click buttons and all
Got
of your
it.
buttons working.
Got
Those
it.
things are very, very important. That shows Google that this is a real website that people aren't just clicking on, giving their money, and then they're getting scammed. Um, with Wix, when you sign up for their premium plan, you actually get some Google ad spend. I think you get $200 or something that you can spend on Google ads.
Really?
And that's a really good way to start driving traffic to your website. Just make sure if you're going to do that, that when the people that you've targeted land there, they can click all your buttons, that they know exactly why they're there. They can navigate your website easily, that it's mobile optimized. Because if it isn't,
Mm.
Google hates it. If your buttons are too close together.
Oh. I feel like that's
Yeah.
sneaky of Google giving the ad spend because then it's like almost like an audit. Like you're sending people there and they're kind of monitoring whether or not, through the ad, if the website is optimized. I kind of love that idea.
Yeah.
Hey there, future podcaster. I'm Nate Kelly, and today I'm thrilled to introduce you to something that is going to transform your podcasting journey. Are you ready to turn your passion for podcasting into a thriving reality? Let me introduce you to the Podcast Launch Accelerator. Imagine a 6-month mentorship program where you get personalized one-on-one coaching, an action plan tailored to your goals, and a comprehensive podcast growth blueprint. But wait, there's more. We're throwing in exclusive interviews with industry experts, a professional podcast success toolkit, and access to our monetization masterclass. At the end of 6 months, we guarantee you a spot in the top 10%, appearance on top iTunes or Spotify charts, and a monetized podcast with host read ads. Click the link in today's show notes to secure your spot in the Podcast Launch Accelerator. But act fast. We have limited spots available, and you do not want to miss out on this opportunity.
Yeah, I think Google and Wix have a partnership for sure because when you do your Wix website, they offer you a Google email box as well. So they definitely have a partnership, which makes life a lot easier because Google has
Yeah.
some really great tools as well, especially if you use them to host your domain and your email and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of tools they have that complement the Wix website stuff. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the basic stuff with SEO, how fast your website is when people click on it. Cause that's,
Mm.
if your website takes forever to load, people are out of there, right? The cool thing about like Wix websites as opposed to WordPress is they'll optimize your photos and your content for the web. So if you put in a picture that's way too big to be on the internet, that's going to take forever to load, they'll actually
Yeah.
change that and make it more optimized for the web. I would still do your due diligence and like make your photos less heavy.
Yeah.
There's a way better way to say that, but you know what I mean. Like
I
you
do
don't need a
know.
huge file on the internet.
Right.
Because it takes forever to load. So the faster your website is, the better. And that's where Wix isn't the best for SEO, is because they have so many options and so many cool things that you can put into your website, and you can run like coaching programs on there, your blog, you could have a group, you can have a forum, you could basically build your own social media site. And there's like apps that connect to it as well. So your community can be on an app with you. But the more you put into it, the kind of slower it is to run. And so some people run into the problem where they're like, the SEO isn't the greatest because of the speed of their website,
Gotcha.
because it's so loaded. Yeah.
It just bogged down. I think heavy was actually a great word for it.
Okay, good. Yeah. I feel like I'm the perfect kind of bridge between the techie world and the people who don't want to have anything to do with technology. Like I
For
sit right in the
sure.
middle there and can kind of
Yeah.
understand the tech, but then also understand that nobody else is going to understand that. So try and explain it in a way that makes sense.
Yeah. I love it. Heavy. Well, you mentioned niching down, and I love that about your business and others who are just so laser focused on their community. But it could also be a scary thing. Like, am I niching down too much? Am I excluding a portion of, a potential client base by niching down too hard? But I've thought about this for such a long time. I mean, you and I have discussed this back when you were on the Sobriety Diaries the first time, and we're in a good spot there. Our community's still growing, we're still telling diverse stories, but I'm still, I go back and forth on my business a lot. Do I
Mhm.
niche down and it could go a couple ways. Do I niche to, you know, aspiring queer podcasters or aspiring sober podcasters? Like it's still on my mind a lot. would you recommend going toward the LGBT side of me or the sober side of me?
I'd recommend going to the sober LGBT side of you
There you
because that
go.
is like,
Okay.
that's super niche. And the thing with it is like, I know I niche down to like the sober community, right? But the sober community doesn't just know sober people. Like they've recommended me to family members and other things, other opportunities have come out of that. But it's who I speak to when I do my marketing, my messaging, and everything. So, I mean, my business has been run 100% on referrals. From the day I launched, I was booked solid within the first 3 months of my business to the point where I was in over my head and didn't have the proper like systems in place to like start and end with customers and have them
Yeah.
feel confident moving forward. So it was like really building my business as I was going, and it was nonstop. I mean, thank God it was, we're still half in lockdown when I launched, so a lot more to do than work and, be on the computer, so
Right.
this took off really, really quickly, and, because I was so niche was the reason for my success. The thing with being a business coach or web designer or podcast coach, all these things where you wanna help other people is there's a lot of competition now. There's a ton of people that are offering these services. There's a lot of courses out there that people can take. So when they see, oh, I help specifically LGBTQ sober podcasters, that person is gonna be like, you are the only person for me,
Yeah.
Like if your sales pitch is already done.
Right.
This person understands my struggles, understands my voice, understands my um, passion and the things I want to put out into the world and can really help me move through that process. And yeah, I find it's way more powerful the more specific you are with who you want to serve.
And then it's just about finding those people, right? Not weeding through the vastness of all aspiring podcasters. You're just seeking out those who you do match with.
And there's always, I feel like the big problem in my industry, in the sober community, even in any business community, is that feeling of there's not enough to go around and I'm always in competition and I'm, you know, for me it was like I'm self-taught, like I've never gone to school for web design. I've just done it since grade 7. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, there's probably people that are better than me and there's a lot of like imposter syndrome and self-doubt I had to work through and thinking like people could just go to Fiverr and have someone do this. Why would they want to hire me?
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
things go through my head. And it took me a while to get here, but I find like the more I let go of that and just allow the people that are meant to work with me and want to like pay my prices, find me, connect with me, work with them. Like I've risen my prices since I started, and that means I've had a lot less, customers and clients, and I've made way more money,
Yeah. There you
and I
go.
felt way less overwhelmed, and I don't feel that like, I just don't feel the need to take on everybody anymore, and I love that. I love that feeling. It feels like freedom, and it allows me more space and time to open up and, like, get people on my podcast and have people sharing their business stories and all that kind of stuff and spend time with my family and like, you know, do these
The
other
rest
things
of
in life
life.
that are so important. Yeah.
Do you feel like you do have those systems in place now and that structure that you didn't when you got overloaded?
I do, like now I do website in a weekend. So my
Ooh, love
main
it.
package that I sell to my new clients is like we hang out on Friday, go through everything that you want for your website. There's a onboarding process where they go through like a questionnaire. So I have a really good idea of what they want before we meet on Friday and a mood board and everything put together. And I'll have like a mock up ready for them. We meet on Friday, we go through the mock up, we see like what do you love, what do you want to change? And then it's like a weekend process rather than spending a month with a client.
That's so smart.
Yeah. And my clients are happier because they get what they want really, really quickly, right? And I love that adage. It's like I can either do it fast, cheap, or you can have it fast, cheap, or done well, but you only get to choose two,
Choose
right?
two. Yeah,
so, so I do it fast and done well, but I charge more.
as you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably should be charging even more than I do, but just because of the community I'm helping, like I really want to make it something that's accessible.
Well, I feel like I've just been grilling you the whole time about your business, but that is so helpful to have kind of both of our backgrounds and it marries the digital entrepreneurs and the podcasters and it's something important. So,
What was it like for you when you started your podcast and then you got your own website? Like you really Frankensteined, and I think a lot of us do that when we start
totally.
our businesses. It's just like I want to figure out as little things I have to pay for right now, and I'm just gonna put it all together so I can get it out there. And especially
Yes.
us like tech savvy podcaster types, we can do a lot, with a
Yeah.
very
I
little, very
wasn't
resourceful
scared.
people.
Very
Yeah.
resourceful. Podpage. Have you heard of Podpage?
I have because of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like a Wix or a Squarespace, but it's very um not dumbed down, but it has a lot less capabilities. But it's a way to get a website up and a way to build a brand in the beginning. And I think it's probably born out of this idea that we started this episode with. Podcasters need a place for their listeners to go to. So actually, Matthew Passy, when we did the cause pods way back when, and it was the week of launching the Sobriety Diaries, and he was like, "Do you have a website yet?" And I was like, "Well, no." He was like, "You need to get a website up now before your first episode launches." So I was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, go to Podpage. It's easy. You kind of pick your template, you pick some brand colors, you upload some photos and your RSS feed, and it automatically imports your episodes as they release. Um, it has your artwork and your brand colors, and just creates. You can choose like the ending of the website domain, so it would be like podpage.com/the sobriety diaries. And it's a way to create that landing page. If you don't want to
Mm.
necessarily use a Facebook group or really get into developing a website on Wix or Squarespace. So that's what I had probably for a year until you and I worked together the first time. There's no real analytics though, or any way to kind of optimize or understand any of your website traffic or anything like that, as far as I remember, or maybe I just didn't dig into it enough. Um, but it is a super user friendly way for, if you can get your podcast on the air, you can certainly have a functioning pod page. So check out pod page too if that's the route you want to go. We'll link everything in today's show notes, but I was happy with it for the first 9 months or a year.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I use a Square up, the little
Square
square
up.
thing that you bring to markets. Before I paid for my website, I
Yes.
used like their free like appointment stuff because it could link to Instagram. And at the time, there's only a couple things that could link to Instagram with a booking button. I made a website through Canva and I just like redirected my
I've done
GoDaddy
that
link
too.
to it. And like, like
Yes.
you do what you can until you can
Resourceful.
get a couple clients under your belt and start like making some money, some income so you can invest in things like a website. Um, but yeah, I think having it is really important, and if you're not there yet, that's okay, but eventually make it a goal.
Make it a goal for sure. And choose a domain. Choose a domain that you can grow with. I've made the mistake of buying domains that are too specific and
Mm,
that don't necessarily represent my brand as it grows. So then I've had to kind of purchase additional domains, which I guess is okay as my brand grows and changes. I've always gotten them from Google Domains, but I logged in a couple days ago to check like my DNS on one of the sites, and it said that all of Google is transferring to Squarespace or something like that. Have you seen that?
Oh, I have not.
Like Google domains will not exist after I think June of this year. They're like
Oh,
transferring
wow.
everything to Squarespace.
I gotta log in.
Yeah. Yeah, check
Actually, I
it.
do remember hearing something about that. Yeah, I'll dig into that more. I don't know if anyone else is having this problem, digital entrepreneurs out there, if you can leave a comment or do whatever you do, but does Gmail eat your emails? Because I find often people will send me things and I won't see it unless I specifically search their name. Like it just doesn't come up in my feed, my mail feed. And then I notice they do have an all mail function. So I'm like, why are you just picking and choosing what mail I see
Yeah, I wanna see
on my
all the
phone?
mail all the
Yeah,
time.
like show me
That's
everything.
weird. Does your inbox have the tabs like social
Yeah.
promotions? Huh. Yeah, I've not had the best luck with my specific domain email, like at Podcast Nate. I've not had the best luck
Yeah.
with it. Sometimes outgoing messages bounce back. Like you had that issue for
Okay.
ever. Like I'm having that
Yeah.
problem right now and it's just frustrating. So I don't even fucking use that email.
It
I'm
was
just like,
so
screw it.
embarrassing too. They did
Right.
something where you had to, like, go and change your settings, and it was blocking my emails to, like, 90% of my clients. Like, some people could get my emails, some people couldn't, and I was sending the same email, like, 15 times because I'm like, "Is it me? Did I not pay my
Yeah, what's
subscription? Like,
happening?
what's going on?"
Right.
And, so I go through all this, and then I'm like, finally get it all fixed. I'm like, "Oh, did my clients just get, like, 30 emails from me all saying
Yes.
the same thing over and over and over again in different ways?"
I'm sure they did. Yeah, and then I end up emailing them from my regular old Gmail, which is, like, just weird and also, questionable, you know? I just
Yeah.
feel defeated by Gmail at the current moment.
We should look at some new email providers and see if there's anything, like, new and
Mm,
up and coming.
yeah,
Because
good
Gmail's really
call.
had the business well, it used to be Yahoo was the big one you buy your business
Yes,
emails from, and then it turned into Gmail, and, I
they've
know Microsoft is
monopolized.
trying to yeah, Microsoft's trying to get in there with GoDaddy. You can get I believe it's Microsoft email with them, and it seems a lot more affordable. The only thing with Gmail is you get the G Suite, the workspace,
Yes,
and then you have,
right.
like, forms you can create and, um
The
you can use their
Drive.
Meet, the Drive, yeah, all that kind of stuff I find really useful. So, plus your YouTube channel. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, your YouTube integration. There are definitely perks,
yeah.
but man, just clean up those, errors with your email.
I do have a tip for YouTubers that are starting a
Ooh,
podcast is to use a regular old Gmail address and not your business to launch your YouTube because what I ran into was down the road when we decided to close our business and not pay for, email
ooh,
anymore.
yeah.
I've got an account sitting there I don't know how to log into anymore, so
Well, damn. Yeah.
yeah, so just use something, like a free Gmail, and then you can change it, the title and everything down the road if you decide to change your business and not pay for your fancy email anymore. Hot tips from Brooke.
Good tip. Hot tips. Here we go. Hot tips. Well, I feel like that would be a good transition for Tech Talk today. Thank God. This has been something that Brooke's been talking about now, I think probably since like episode 1. Um, and she's finally got it, ladies and gentlemen. Take it away.
I've got the stick. So
There she is.
yeah, so this little Rode Wireless Go 2 that is the gift that keeps on costing me money. Um, I just I loved these sticks. I've been seeing them everywhere. It makes you feel so official when you're, holding on to something and not just a little square box. Oh, I keep hitting myself.
Yeah.
I did go on the non-generic brand cheaper version of this
Yeah.
stick. So a couple of the I mean, it works. It holds the thing. It comes with, like, a bunch of different colored,
Oh, look at that.
tops that you can put on there.
Oh, with like the little square, it's square to fit it.
Yeah,
How
it's got a little
genius.
square bottom, comes with, like,
Genius.
orange, 2 black, and a blue. Um, so one thing I will say is I don't know that the clip actually fits properly in here. I don't you can see if you're watching this on video, there's, like, about a
Yeah.
finger's worth of space in there, and then so when you're putting your guy on top, your fuzzy wind blocker,
Yeah.
there's a little bit of space, and as someone who is a recovering perfectionist, that bothers me, but I can get over it.
Yeah.
Um,
It looks
otherwise
it looks legit.
it does, and it looks like the Rode, the, like, standard Rode one, but the Rode's
Yeah.
about $79 Canadian, this was about 30, 35, 38. It also comes with
Jesus.
yeah, it comes with,
Ooh,
some threads on the bottom and the
yes.
back, so if you wanted to throw it on a tripod, you can do
So
so, which is very, very
helpful.
handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I brought this to a town hall meeting recently, and everybody thought I was a real journalist, so that made me very happy.
Heck yeah. It's already accomplishing everything you wanted it to.
Yeah, it's a stick and it holds a microphone. I don't know why they charge so much for these.
Legit. I'm 79. Like, what?
For the Rode, yeah.
Road. Come
Yeah.
on. That should
So I
come in the kit when you buy the damn wireless Go, in my opinion.
so should the cords to make it work with your cell phone, but
Amen. Amen.
that's for another day.
Thanks so much for hanging out today. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube for all of our video content at Unplugged Tech Pod.
And join us in our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/unpluggedpodcast. Also, make sure to throw us a 5-star review if you are finding this content valuable for you and your digital business. We accept all forms of reviews, Apple Podcast, Spotify follows, YouTube, telling your grandmother about us.
And make sure to share the episode with one person in your life who may find it valuable. And we'll see you next time on Unplugged.
I think it's good enough, and we're just going to keep getting better.